Hello fellow fish nerds and happy Fry Friday. Today's video is an update to my Guppy Punnett Square video. I'll post a link to it right here. I'm really proud of that video. Go check it out. I put a lot of time and effort into it. It is what I would like to do more of, which is teaching science lessons by using fish. It is the figuring out guppy genetics through the use of Punnett squares through Mendelian genetics, the genetics of Gregor Mendel. Anyways, this is an update on those fry to see how true that Punnett square was, and if our predictions in theory of how many or what traits are dominant and recessive, see how true that is in practice. You know, theoretical versus experimental. Combining the two words together. So this is an update of that video. And it shows the growth of the first batch of fry, and there's a second batch of fry, so we can hopefully prove the Punnett square even further with a greater a greater data size to collect our data. And so since it's from the same parents, I would still consider it the first generation. Now, second generation would be if the first batch of fry, or second batch of fry basically, once they breed, together, what that would happen. That would show what truly is recessive. This first one will show what is dominant. The dominant trait being what covers up the recessive trait, what gets covered up and covers up and comes back in later generations. So, stay tuned to get updated on the fancy fin female guppies. I don't know what else we're calling them. Stay tuned. I'll see you on the other side.
It's Mr. Science Geek. I hope my tanks don't leak. If it's information that you seek, and my videos take a peek, be sure to tune in each week. My singing and my jokes really reek. Here we have the breeding adults in question. The female on the right, not so fancy fin, but pretty colors. There's a baby in the middle. There's the male. I suspect he's probably sterile because of his fancy fins. Here is the female with the traits we desire, the fancy fin female. On the right is a fry from the first batch. We will find out, obviously, if the male is sterile or not with his crazy fancy fins. So that is to be determined. There is another male in the tank, just to be sure that there are offspring. Whether or not he's sterile. Here is the second batch of the fry, the smaller ones. These are in this video a few days old. There's the larger fry in the back is from the first batch. So it's larger, obviously, older. Like I said, the smaller ones are a few days old. Here comes a larger first batch fry. I think that's actually the fancy fin, the 25%, the recessive trait possibly. But I don't know what to get a closer look at her later. Here's the first batch fry again, and here we go. Here's the on the right side, actually no, right there on the left side is the fancy finned female offspring. This is a female. I suspect it's a female from the first batch. Pretty sure it's a female. Has a gravid spot. Has the fin shape of a female. Just showing that is the recessive trait. I will keep you up to date. So for that, stay tuned and stay fishy, people.